Pinoy para sa Pinoy pays tribute to CSM's growing stable of local book authors with current titles, now totaling 27. Tonight, we celebrate our Pagka-Pinoy by showcasing 6 original new book titles and a music CD for our kababayans. Ladies and gentlemen, mga kababayan, here is the Chief Executive Officer of CSM. Let's all welcome Mr. Abner Lacson to greet us tonight.
Maraming salamat, Ate Maloy. About a month ago, na-experience ko, first time ko na-experience, siguro kayo rin, na after the incident, yung pagka-Pinoy ko gusto kong itago. Siguro pare-pareho tayo ng damdamin. August 23 marked something in my life na parang, buti na lang mukha akong Chinese. Yeah. Parang, pag ba pumunta ako sa US ngayon, anong tanong sa akin? Baka puro sablay. Mahirap pong isipin, pero I think in every Filipino, yung event na yon, napakahirap tanggapin. We can probably do something greater than that, pero hindi po natin nagawa. But I think meron po sa ating itinuturo ang event na yon. I heard our President telling us na don't judge us with that event. Judge us on what we can do in this country. Nung narinig ko po yan, medyo nabuhayan ako. I think, yun yung isang turning point na sinabi ko sa sarili ko, well, totoo nga yun, ano? In fact, nung ginawa po namin yung team na Gawang Pinoy para sa Pinoy, we are very, very proud to be a Filipino because nakikita po namin that only Filipino can write for Filipino.
Our next speaker is a True Love Waits graduate. True Love Waits, or TLW, teaches sexual purity to young people. I say graduate because she waited for and eventually wed her true love 6 years ago.
Say the book is really a faith journey, more than a love story that would, well, it has its mushy sides, but more than that, it was really a faith journey, a story of how God was so good to me. And I just wanted to share that to a lot of young couples out there who, yung nalilito na sino ba sa kanila sa dami ng pipiliin, or ito na ba talaga ang papakasalan ko? Bukas ng kasal ko, sigurado ba ako sa gagawin ko? Yung mga ganong klaseng tanong. And I realized that what I experienced from the Lord is something that should not just be kept. It's something that I could share with others, and others can learn from it. I received emails and comments in my blog, not just from the Philippines, but from other Asian countries. I don't know how they got hold of the first edition of the book, and they said, we wish your book would come to our country. Places like Malaysia, Indonesia. And they said, we could relate to this book because it's truly Asian. A lot of Filipinas, and even young men, Filipino men, would come to me and say, thank you for writing it because finally we could relate to something that's truly ours. And at a time when I would go to the bookstore and I would find my book at the bottom of the shelf, kasi daw po Pilipino, kagayang sabi ni Kuya Abner, Pilipino, hindi po kilala yung pangalan. So the foreign sounding names would all be at the top shelf, and I would see my book at the bottom. I would just pray na, Lord, someday, sana po one day, you would be able to bring out the Filipino message of what you've done for us in this country, in an Asian situation. And the time has come once again, after 5 years.
What would our lives be like without our teachers? They too need tender, loving care in order to teach at their very best. And we've got an author who can speak for and to educators such as herself.
The content of the teacher care came from the most requested topics I have facilitated in the last 10 years as Professor of Philippine Baptist Theological Seminary and Asia Baptist Graduate Theological Seminary. After some prayer, I came to see the need to integrate these concepts into a book. Dr. Ann Windows, my co-author, confided that the writing of the book with me comes out of her own struggles to set limits and remember to take care of herself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. These dream books cover the head, hands, and heart needs of teachers. The teacher care, yung area naman ay for the heart ng ating teachers. And so, teacher care, proper holistic wellness, is for us teachers who desire proper PRO, PER, which is professional, and personal needs. That is why it's called proper. And this is my prayer that this will get us to the road to becoming not just good teachers, but the best we could be.
We have a former Filipino missionary who is now discipling Filipinos to cross cultures for the advancement of the kingdom.
When I was asked by CSM and they asked me whether I would be willing to rewrite the book, I said, well, can I have a copy of that book? And so I read it. And I was excited because that is actually the message that I want to tell people as I mobilize missions. I just wanted to read the first 2 paragraphs of my preface of the book. Ask ordinary churchgoer to define what missions is, and you'll get a wide range of responses. Missions is one of the most misunderstood tasks of the local church. Although many local churches claim that missions is high in their agenda, often it's only lip service. And sadly, missions remain low and sometimes nil in many of the church's order of priorities and budgets here in the Philippines. So it's a real challenge for me to mobilize the churches, and I hope that this book will actually mobilize missions, mobilize the churches to be involved in missions. We must be involved not only in our barangays, not only in the Philippines, but we must be involved in God's mission for the whole world.
Here to talk about and to talk more about his other books, let's all welcome Francis Kong.
I never have any problem with my books being put on the lower shelves in stores. You know why? I have a foreign sounding name. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Francis Kong. I am not from Hong Kong. People say you speak like an American. Sometimes you dress up like a Japanese. Sometimes I suffer from an identity crisis. But I can assure you, deep inside my heart pumps 100% unadulterated Filipino blood. Many ages ago, years ago, when I came up with my first book, I had it published to another company. I was advised not to sell it at the price I wanted. Ang sabi po sa akin, Filipino books cannot command that high of a price. I said that's exactly the reason why I wanted to price my books high. You see, a lot of people do not understand the difference between price and value. Price is what you pay for. Value is what you experience. If you cannot give the experience and the value that people are looking for, you don't have the right to charge the right price. Am I correct? And that's the reason why many years ago, my challenge was Filipinos can write good books and charge good prices because of the value, not just for the price. Am I correct? And now my 14th book is about to come out by November. And I want to thank Abner, I want to thank CSM for being so faithful and being so good in treating me while all of these books have been out. Ito lang po ang sasabihin ko because I have a tendency to, I just got here from a 4-hour speaking engagement. I did training for a marketing company and I can speak for 2 continuous days. And so I gotta limit and control myself. The book is entitled Duh. That's the right way to pronounce it, by the way. D-U-H. Why? Because I coined an acronym for DUH. DUH simply means, why do intelligent people develop unhealthy habits? Have you guys ever realized this? Intelligent people do crazy things. Educated people do stupid stuff. And then at the end of the day, they wonder, how come nothing's happening to my life? Duh. That is not a book that gives you worldly wisdom. That is a book that gives you practical wisdom based on biblical foundation and values. That has been my constant theme ever since book 1 until today. I just want to say this. There are very few companies like CSM who believes in the ability of the Filipino to come up with good quality books. We have the talent, but sometimes we don't just believe we can. But if you have a company that believes in the ability of the Filipino to come up with good books, I think we just have to unleash that potential and talent and use it for an audience of one. And make sure that what we do will not be, you know what, after all these years, my first book until today still gets sold. But honestly, I don't even know how many books I have already sold, because that's not important. What is important is after 12 or 14 years, I have had people write me through my Facebook site and telling me how much their lives have improved, marriages got together, how much their business have grown. Because a couple of years ago, this chinky-eyed person that you find right in front of you believed that a Filipino can write a good book, and that that book, as long as it is dedicated for an audience of one, not for ourselves, God will use that fruitfully.
We have reserved the first timer for last, here to tell us more about her first book with CSM. Is CSM's first-time author for 2010, also an announcer-producer with 702 DZAS, LJ Salceda.
Tatlo ang rason, basic reasons kung bakit ko nasulat yung aklat. Na-share ko na kanina para to speak for, to minister, to bless yung mga kagaya ko na lumaki na hiwalay ang magulang o kaya produkto ng single-parent homes or families. Pangalawa, meron akong mga pinangakuan na youth, yung mga kababayan ko sa Bicol, out-of-school youth na gusto kong tulungan makapag-aral kahit yung secondary education man lang matapos nila. Kaya yung proceeds ng aklat na to ay makakatulong sa kanila. So salamat. At yung pangatlo, bilang pangako at bilang pag-onra, sabi sa amin sa Bicol, in honor of my mom, nag-promise ako sa mami ko na except for making her proud, papayos ko yung bubong ng bahay niya. Kaya yun ang pangatlong rason. Personal, pang pamilya. Sana ipagkalat niyo po, kauna-unahan, I think, dito sa Philippines na isang anak ng single parent or single parent homes, son or daughter na nakapagsulat ng ganitong aklat.
CSM proudly present the latest resources of the One Pinoy para sa Pinoy.